about chapter 4. My name is Daniel Nolasco. This
I'm Hugo Ernesto.
And the cameraman
Daniel Galdames.
Daniel Galdames. Okay, let's go. For the first question is the grammar translation method an effective way to learn a new language?
At least for me, I believe that the grammar translation method is not a good method to learn a new language because it emphasizes too much the native language. So what the grammar translation method does is that it compares the native language and the second language. It compares the grammar structures, the cognates, and it's most about writing. It doesn't place too much emphasis in speaking. So I don't really think that unless you can communicate effectively in a second language using the grammar translation method.
And what are the benefits and what problems could arise from this?
Well, you can certainly make things easier if you compare at least the grammar structures. For instance, present perfect, it would be similar in Spanish at least to the pretérito pluscuamperfecto. So that helps to the students to learn a little bit fast, but it creates problems too because there are, for instance, words that look similar, but they have different meanings. Like embarrassed, it would be avergonzado, but most second language learners interpret that word like embarazado.
Is the direct method an effective way to learn English? Why? Why not? Should the use of the first language be avoided at all costs?
Okay, what the direct method does is that it uses like a little bit of grammar structures, but there is also speaking. So the students try to speak and they avoid the native language at all costs. When the students don't understand a word, the professor tries to use pantomime that use his hands, gestures, or he could use pictures, and he only used the native language as the last resort. Only the student is not capable of understand the word, the meaning, or the grammar structure.
Okay, Hugo, and how does presentation, practice, production work?
Okay, in the presentation phase, what the teacher does is the teacher tries to elicit an answer from the student. Let's say the teacher gives part of the grammar structures. He could use his hands, like let's say, he is going to Prado. And let's say if the teacher wants to show the students how can they contract a word, he can join two fingers to show that there is a construction. He's going to Prado. And that's the presentation phase, right?
That's very interesting.
Let me finish for the love of God.
Okay.
So in the practice the practice phase, like he tries that the students produce and use the grammar structure, but in different kind of situation. And in the production phase, the student using the second language actively.
Okay, and do you think that the use of drill as the audiolingual method is an effective way to learn a new language?
Okay, I believe that drills are really useful, but they are not really what you need to learn a second language. because most of the time what they do during the drills is they use the same structure, but they change one word. Like for instance, there is a watch on the table. Let's see. Now there is a watch on the table. You can see that. Now let's, for instance, there is a shoe on the table. Now there is a shoe on the table. There is a pencil on the table. There is a piece of paper on the table. Similar to that.
This is the first part about the interview.
The second part, we continue with the question. The other question is the silent way or use a way to learn English? Could be a little communication between professor and student.
Okay, in the silent way, the teacher don't talk at all. He try that the students use the second language most of the time. So he try to help the students when they have some sort of problem using pantomime, using images like pictures. And also there is a little bit weird because in the silent way they use a chart. It is called feeder chart. In that chart, the sounds of the English language are represented with the squares, and each of those squares has a color. So what the professor does is that he or she uses a stick and point to the sounds. So in that way the students will be able to produce to pronounce a new word or sound. And at least I believe that no, it's not that it will be at least some communication between the student and professor to make the second language learning faster.
Okay, the other question. Can the total physical response be applied to any second language learning in only children?
Okay, first let's talk about a little bit about total physical response. In the total physical response, what the professor does is that he uses commands, and with that commands he or she teaches to their children, but the professor also asks the commands. Like, let's say the professor says stand up, and he does it like this. And so the students try to imitate that. Or for instance, let's say the professor says, move to the table and touch it. So the professor does it. And the students try to mimic everything that the professor is doing. And at least I believe that for children it's a really good method. But for adults or maybe elder citizens, I don't think that it is a good idea, because they maybe will be thinking that they are playing instead of learning a second language.
Okay. And the other question. One of the alternatives of the PPP is
So ESA stands for Engage, Study, Activate, and it is really similar to PPP, because in Engage the professor tries that the student get involved in the second language learning process, and the study phase he teaches to the student, let's say, some grammar structure or some particular word or something like that. And in Activate, the students produce language. That's it.
well, who doesn't task-based learning work?
Excuse me, could you repeat that question?
Okay, who doesn't task-based learning work?
Okay, so task-based learning works like the students try to solve, let's say, a problem. Like there is a woman facing a problem, like she has a phobia to spiders, and the students had to discuss in pairs or in groups how to solve that problem. So they activate the language using they say the grammar structure, the vocabulary that the students already have, and they try to solve that problem, the right solution, then they pass to the front of the class, they talk about that solution, and the teacher evaluates the performance of the student, like the pronunciation.
Okay, and Hugo, can you tell me about another question? For example, can a person effectively communicative in second language using the lexical approach?
Okay, in the lexical approach, they use already made phrases like idioms or slangs, and certainly those are parts of a second language, but I believe that the students is only they're using lexical approach, let's say phrases, idioms, he or she wouldn't communicate effectively because he or she would be using already made phrases, and he or she, the student, wouldn't have the capacity to create new sentences.
And for the last question is, how does Suggestopedia work?
Suggestopedia takes into account the feelings of the students. So in Suggestopedia it's important how the student feels. So in that way, he or she will be able to learn a second language. There is also posters around about grammatical rules around the room, and they also use music, but most of the time is baroque music, like kind of classical music. And what the teacher does is that first they try to improve the listening of the students, because he reads a reading about anything, but with music as a background, classical music.
Okay, thank you so much for watching the video, and this is our interview for chapter 4.
Yeah, this is Daniel Nolasco, by the way, and Hugo Ernesto, and our cameraman is Daniel Galdames. Okay, the Suggestopedia is a little bit weird because it takes an approach about the feelings of the students. So in Suggestopedia, it's really important how the student feels. So in that way, he or she will be able to learn a second language. And I don't remember anything else about Suggestopedia. I'm sorry. But I can talk you about my experience as a teacher in the Intermediate Grammar Club, and I would say that cuanto puta y más que the time.
Could you explain a little about
That's the part of the job. Yeah. So the fluency, all of that.
Bueno, disculpe, la administración no se